Hi, today I have the great pleasure of interviewing President of the Otago Chess Club, Mr. Bob Clarkson. And I've known Bob for a few years now, and I've always appreciated something very special about Bob, is he's very inviting to me, even though I'm not always someone you want to invite into the club. So anyway, hi Bob.
Hello there, David. Good to see you again.
Good. Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that. It's very important to me. But I'm here for you. Now, Bob, you've been the Otago Chess Club president for how long now?
4 years now.
4 years. So, that's since 2014 or
Previous to that, I was the secretary for perhaps
6 years.
6 years.
And anything like treasurer or something?
I draw the line at treasurer because I leave that to the experts.
Yeah.
But keep an overall sort of picture on what's happening there,
Right.
basically. But previous to that, back in the 80s, I was the secretary back then, so I had a break,
Oh, okay.
and then come back to it then.
So is that even more than 6 years that
Yeah,
you're
if
a
you count that,
secretary?
it's more.
Oh, wow, it is. Yeah. So how long have you been coming to the Otago Chess Club for?
Since 1983.
1983. Okay.
Worked that out.
And
With a couple of gaps in between where we've done OEs for a few years.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to break away and come back again.
Yes.
So,
And whereabouts did you go there for that?
well, I'm an avid sailor, cruiser,
Oh,
and we took our boat over through the islands, Australia, and back here to New Zealand for 5 years.
wow. So
So
this
in
is
that
why I
time
wonder.
my chess went backwards, of course.
This is why I want to do things like this, because I find out who you are, and other people do too,
That's
and so
right.
we get to appreciate. So what's involved with your boat, if I may ask? You don't
Nothing
have
at
to
the
answer.
moment because now we've passed that and
Okay.
we don't have the boat anymore.
So what was it?
It was a
Ketch?
no, a
I
sloop.
don't know much.
A Laurent Giles sloop.
Yeah. Okay.
We used to have a ketch years and years ago,
Did
back
you?
in the 70s,
And how?
which we brought down to the meeting.
And what's the sort of like the area of what's its length and or what
11
was its length back then?
In feet, 36 feet. I still
36
seem to work
feet.
in feet.
So it was about 12,
11 and a half metres.
12, 11 meters. Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, and so you've gone quite some distances with whereabouts have you gone with this sloop?
All around New Zealand
All around New Zealand.
and all the closer islands from Tonga, Fiji,
Wow.
Vanuatu,
Yeah.
Australia.
Yes.
Eastern seaboard of Australia.
Have you? Oh,
Guinea.
okay. Brisbane and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or over the Queensland coast or
Yeah.
so. Melbourne.
Melbourne.
So you get the boat and just drive it over a bit.
We actually
wow.
didn't go into Melbourne, but into a place called Eden.
Now you just played in chess, so we're talking about chess and life. But
Yes.
I really like to hear about. That's what I'm getting called for doing is talking to people the likes of yourself that in regards to what else in life than chess. And so that's really, really, I'm just so impressed with that. That's really sounds awesome. Have you got one for sale? Just joking. I'm not. I could probably just about afford one, or I could swap you something. But anyway, so who taught you chess, Bob?
My father.
Your father. Usually the case. And when was that? If you don't mind me asking,
I
and you
think
don't
I
have
was
to.
about 7. So that
7
was a
years
long
old.
time ago.
Was it a long time ago?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yep.
It can't be that long
I
ago,
don't think I
can
better
it?
give you the.
You don't want to give the details. No, we won't have the
But
details.
no,
We'll
we
just
played chess off and on till I was about. I think I beat him when I was 13.
13.
And
So
then
it took you about 6 years to
then
topple
He
him.
didn't play me anymore after that.
Did he not? Now, how many times do I hear that story?
Yeah.
So did you just sort of what progressed your chess from losing to your father for several years, sort of thing, 6, 7 years? What progressed your chess back
No,
then for you,
it
Bob?
didn't, because I didn't know about the club here then.
And was that in Dunedin, you
It
mean?
was in Dunedin.
Wow. So
Mm.
have you been here all your life in Dunedin, other
In and
than
out.
off and shore?
Yeah, in and out. No, I've been away from time to time, working in different places. So. But back
But
here,
primarily your
in Dunedin.
parish is Dunedin.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And we're not going to, like I said, we're not going to ask you when that was, but I'm just going to now just show some of Bob's handiwork, because when I was a member of the Otago Chess Club, I'm probably almost already still a member of the Otago. Anytime I'm here, I'm allowed to come in here for some reason. I don't. I try to pay money, and I keep getting told, whatever. It's not about me. But I'm going to show some of the handiwork because these pictures have been up here, the characteristics
The
and
world champion.
the icons of world chess champions. So I'm just going to be really, really quick. I'm going to zoom in on
They're not all
some
mine.
of Bob's, well, I'm just going to say they are, Bob's handiwork. Obviously, that's Anatoly Karpov, and we've got Fischer, and we've got Petrosian over here, which is adding up draws, and we've got the great Mikhail Tal, and
Our latest.
our latest is Magnus Carlsen over there,
Yep.
and it might change soon. But there's my greatest favourite one. Did you do Kasparov?
No.
Because Kasparov's he's got that nice black look to him, and I like that a lot. Anyway, back to the interview.
Right.
So sorry about that.
Yeah.
Those
no, you were
people.
saying how did my chess progress? Well, it didn't, because I got to that stage and then went off to work and did all sorts of other things and played casually over the board with friends and with workmates. But that's as far as it was until I think I went to Hamilton and joined the club in Hamilton for a year or so.
Were there many people in Hamilton?
Yeah, there was quite a few back in those days.
Yeah.
That was in the late 60s, 70s.
Was it quite strong club
Very
sort of
strong.
thing? Okay.
Yeah.
What, if you want to answer this or not, what field of, not that I can talk myself, but what field of profession were you working in?
Engineering
Primarily.
with telecom, yeah.
Engineering with telecom. Yeah, that's a pretty certain job, isn't it, really? I know some people that are linesmen that were working on the linesmen and all that sort of thing, and their job was secure with telecom, which is now Spark. What do you think about whether it's Spark or telecom, or do you think that's...
Downers or chorus.
Yeah. What do you think about... Do you think it should have just kept its name as Bell South, or something like that? Or do you think that
It's
it should stay
interesting
with
the way it's
telecom?
gone with all the contractors
Yeah.
fighting against each other, where with telecom, my philosophy was a team effort throughout New Zealand, which we had. That really worked well.
Yeah.
But now, of course, they're all working individually,
Yeah.
fighting against each other,
Yeah.
which I guess makes good for competitiveness, but in the end,
Is Enable part of that group or not? Enable, like, is it Enable or for the internet company? What's it? There's Chorus and there's other...
downers, yeah, there's all sorts.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know them all.
I've forgotten the word. It starts with E anyway. Anyway, back to this.
Right, what are we
So,
up to next?
okay. So you started playing chess about 7, and you toppled your dad at 13, and then you went to you sort of didn't go anywhere till you hit the Hamilton club. Did you do any? Did you have any office bearing there?
No,
at,
I didn't.
At Hamilton.
I wasn't
Okay.
there long enough for that. It was
Okay.
just a passing through moment for a couple of years. So I just went along and enjoyed the games, which is my philosophy on chess, is to sit back and enjoy the games, enjoy the people, not so much to try and get to the top, if you know what I mean. It's more of enjoyment about it. So that's been my philosophy. So I don't put as much study in as many people do.
We could help you there, though.
Yeah, but do I
Couldn't
want
I?
to put that much study in it? I'm doing so many
Yeah.
other things. You've got to apportion your time out.
Yeah, because I mean, like I'd be able to help you with just the general principles, even though you can see some misbehaviour from me, can't you?
I certainly have noticed a couple of incidences. But you
Okay.
won't mention that.
No, that's okay.
Uh,
What does chess do for you? So you've already sort of touched on that
Yeah,
slightly.
yeah. No,
So
it's
what
just,
does it do for you?
it-
What do you do get out of it?
What I get out of it is just the enjoyment of playing and the pleasure of playing and belonging to a group of people with the same ideals and objectives.
Other than myself, of course. I'm just joking. Yeah, because
Yes.
so
Yeah, it does.
what else?
It does. I think it's probably good for your mind as well.
Good for your mind.
Keeps the mind ticking over, and it's a good indicator of actually how you're progressing through life. If you're not
It is. It
dropping
is.
down or going up, you're
Yeah.
holding your own.
Yeah.
So, although saying that, some very well-known players, even in the club here, I can name one, got Alzheimer's, and he was a really, really good player. So, it can only take it to a certain level
Oh.
if you're well. But otherwise, if you get some sort of disease, well, you're struggling a bit anyway.
Oh. Does that player still be able to perform or completely forgotten
No,
it?
no,
Or
he's now passed on. So.
oh, yeah. But was he able to when he had Alzheimer's or dementia?
He came along to the club and played competitively until he realised he was going back, and that was it.
Okay. Yeah, that's no good.
It's
That's a
not
bit
right.
sad, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that's sort of a little bit like the next question. What has chess got for you? So I don't want to put words in your mouth, Your Honour, but
I've used chess right throughout my life, even though I'm still not very good at it. But I've played wherever I've worked. Basically, found people who enjoy the game. And
or when you were in
had-
port.
or in port on boats.
So you do you when you go
Other
to.
boaties enjoy chess. Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
I realise that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, although
Just
some
really-
people might not know that,
Mm.
so when you're actually like, if you'd gone to the east coast of Australia, would you have? Did you participate with people there or
Yes, I went to the Melbourne Club. while I
in
was there.
Elizabeth Street?
Was it Elizabeth Street?
I think it was
No.
back a while back when I was
No,
there.
it's out at Fitzroy.
Oh, is it? Yes.
And also the Brisbane Club.
Oh, have you?
Played a
Oh, wow.
tournament in the Brisbane Club.
You played a tournament there.
Yeah, just a local club.
Do you know when that was?
Oh, not really, not offhand.
Okay.
And I have played in the Norths Club at Sydney, but that wasn't while I was boating. That was a seniors tournament about 3 or 4 years ago. And I went over there. I was over there at the time.
Oh,
Connected up and joined that and went in the seniors tournament.
wow. And did
great.
you do okay in there?
Yep.
Because it's a little, it doesn't.
Usual story.
Yeah, well, that's okay because it's good. They say that what do you have? This is a wee question. I've got a new one. Like we're both senior sort of people now, over 50. We'll just say we're over
Very
50.
polite.
No, you're just over 50, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
You're born about 1963 or something,
Oh, yes.
65. And so, look, the younger players, maybe even the players under 50, don't really appreciate what happens for the brain. You just played in the South Island Championships just recently. How did you find your second round games for the day? Did you find any problem with that, or did you find your game was just as fresh as your first round game
It
for the day?
was, but I expected
Oh.
to have a problem actually. But I had a really good tournament.
So how did you overcome that? Because myself, I don't want to talk about myself, but I found that very difficult. My second round games were really hard on me.
Yeah, it is a mindset.
Oh, okay. So what are you saying?
No.
Well, you better crack open some alcohol or something to just take the hurt of that away. I'm just joking.
No, I go along with a good mindset.
Yeah.
Start the game off, but after 3 or 4 hours, getting towards 6 o'clock at night, that's when I might miss a move.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
One mistake at that time of the day after 2 hard games, last thing at night was, that'll let me down a bit.
Yes.
So that probably is something that hits you when you're a bit older.
Yeah. Well, it hits me quite quickly already, and
But saying
and
you seem to do all right on your second round tier games. Then.
No, I don't think I don't. I mean, like, me myself, I just think, well, if I play really, really well throughout the whole tournament, I'll be playing more harder at the end than I would be if I've performed badly or not very well, if I've bungled or dropped the ball.
Incentive to keep fired up.
So, I don't know, but something like that. I don't think it. I don't myself think it's good if I fluke my way at the end, sort of thing.
No.
So because I had opportunity, but we won't get into that. What do you do if things don't go well? I mean, you're saying you're not that worried about the competitional side of it.
Well, I do go along focused and trying to win. But, okay, if I have a bad game, it doesn't worry me too much.
It doesn't worry you too much, yeah. So if you lose to the
I go
likes
along
of...
without too much expectation.
Yeah,
And quite often I'll really... The highlight for me is knocking over one of the higher players
yeah,
from a lower level,
yeah.
which invariably happens at a tournament.
It does,
So I get a
yeah.
lot of pleasure out of that.
You would do. Because you play here very regularly, you're here playing in the club. Like,
that's right.
that's a word from our sponsor, by the way. So when things go wrong for you, it's just water off a duck's back.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
So is that how an engineer works with it, is it?
Well, no, you must not have anything wrong, of course.
Yeah,
No,
you've got to be in engineering. You can't have a wee little hairline crack somewhere
No, that's right.
because it's going to present.
No, that's right. So you do the best you can with what you've got. And, okay, we know some players are better than others. Some are fresher, some are younger. Found it particularly interesting that the older you get, we find the younger players are coming up, particularly in the faster games like the Blitz, the Lightning or the Rapid. And they are really taking on the old guys at their pace. But at a head-to-head on a tournament game, they're not quite so good. We can hold our own there.
Oh,
Which is
that's
quite
interesting.
Yeah.
How do you relate chess to life, Bob?
Interesting. Well, I guess when you look back, you can't relate it to it when you're young and looking forward. But from this angle looking back, you can see all the moves you've made in your careers and wherever you've done and what you've done, and thought to yourself, I've made a good move there, or I've made a bad move there. And generally everyone tries to make good moves, but it's very difficult. Playing chess, you've got to look ahead and see what's there as far as the board goes. And I guess if a young person takes that on board when he's learning the game and starts looking ahead in his life as well, to the same degree, it must be of benefit to him, I'm sure.
I know one particular player that was when I was a young junior. This player would start from board, move one, would think about the end game already at move one.
Right.
And
That's
so,
interesting.
so they would be considering at move one, just as a junior, very strong player from Canterbury, where I was from Otago, of course.
Whether they
This
want
player,
a pawn ending or a...
they were already thinking about their pawn structure and everything like that for the end game, and I was just playing for the moment, and so that didn't go very well for me. What have been your favourite chess moments thus far?
Well, I did
This
enjoy
might be
playing...
it. This might be it.
This might be it.
I hope so.
Just counting this one because it's
We're not
over
going to
yet.
count it, are we?
Probably playing in the Queenstown
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
tournament back in 2012.
2012, yes.
Yes.
And so there were a lot of grandmasters in that all there, weren't
It was
there?
a big, nearly 200.
Big kerfuffle.
Nearly 200 players.
And young juniors that were sort of like toppling top players and just upsetting them
I got
rather
a good
badly.
upset prize on that one.
Did you?
Yeah. So that was quite
What?
nice.
Please tell me about that. Please tell us about that.
Well, I think it was a over 2,000 player. And of course, from my angle, that's a long way up.
So what did you get?
A bottle of wine or something.
Well, it might have been an
And a bit of
expensive bottle of wine and money.
Yeah.
And money. And
my
some
name called out.
and some prestige, yes.
Prestige, yeah.
Very important prestige.
Yeah.
Is it very important to you, prestige?
I think everyone likes to be recognised, don't they? In a good way.
Why do I think that was angled somehow? Was
yeah,
that a
no.
perpendicular angle to that one, was it?
I think everyone likes to be,
Yeah,
likes
of
to
course.
be called out and,
Yeah, of
and,
course.
Be complimented on what they've been doing.
Yeah, no, that's good. I appreciate your answer there. How does, if any, chess help you in life and help you with life? If any, if it does at all, doesn't.
No, I think it just helps to be relaxed. Although chess is a concentration game, mine, while you're doing that, if you've got any subsidiary worries on the outside, they've just disappeared because you're focused on what you're doing across the board. So actually when you come out of that, you're more refreshed and can look at another problem in a new light.
So it's sort of meditative for you.
Yeah, I think that's a good word.
You use that word focus, which I'm really impressed with the word focus. So I think it's very, very important. And what's his name now? Everyone's going to be complaining about. I forgot his name. Bill Gates. Bill Gates and the other richest man in the world, or the most successful. I don't think it was. I think it's someone else.
Right.
The second wealthiest person in the world or something, and they both unilaterally, independently of each other, obviously that's the same word, resounded that word focus.
Interesting.
So it's it's especially for males, it must be a very important word for us, because we can generally speaking, of course, concentrate on one thing at a time, but we can't concentrate on having a whole lot of things in our quiver at the same time. We might be able to do certain things. That's what I think, anyway.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good précis of what we're like, I suppose. So by focusing on your chess, you're eliminating other problems, then you can have a fresh look at them later on. So, yep, I think it's good.
I think this is probably my favourite interview of all time yet. Even though I've had one of my best friends do an interview, I'm really enjoying this one. It might be because I'm getting a bit more... but if you wanted to see Bob has to look at my my bits of paper all sprawled all over the chess table, where we're at the Otago Chess Club, of course, and he has to see. It doesn't look like a strength to me. It looks like a weakness.
I'm quite happy with that because actually, if you go to my home, I've got little bits of paper.
Have you really?
So I'm a very similar.
So do you?
I'm jotting things.
So
down.
can you tell me? Do you think that's a good thing, or do you think it's an engineering friend of mine? He's one of my best friends, not a chess friend, but he's one of my best friends. And he's an engineer or tool maker or whatever. I won't go into detail any further, but he says, "What are all these bits of paper doing all around you?" So what have you got to comment on that?
Well, they're little memory boosters too, and
Do we need
by writing
them?
something down, if you want to remember it,
It reiterates
does
it
help
also.
to sink in.
Yeah.
So if I'm reading a book or something like this, I'll jot something out of it, put it aside,
Yeah.
and then I'll leave it there for a while and pick it up and look at it, and then I get told, "What's all these bits of paper doing around here?" But,
Do you find that?
around it.
Do you find that you can? This is what I'm trying to do in these interviews. Do you find that these bits of paper, sooner or later, you discard them because they're rather meaningless, really?
They do go in the end, when the time is right.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm finding out I've got some. Sorry about this. So I've got some things in common with you. It's no good, is it? So you've told me you're 4 times the Otago chess champion. So I mean, not the chess
Not the
champion,
chess champion.
the club president,
No.
and 6 years or so plus more previous for.
Century, yeah.
So I do listen. Some people don't believe it, but I actually now. Do you have anything to do with coaching in the club, or
No.
you obviously greet people when they come here, which is
Oh, yes.
quite a thing for the president to do. It's quite good.
Yeah, I take that on to any new members. I welcome into the club, introduce them to everyone at the one time as they came in, and generally make them welcome because we're trying to get more members and
Yeah,
get them to
always
stay.
are.
We do get a lot of members coming through, but they tend to peel off again and don't stay for some reason.
So, what reasons do you think they
No,
might have
no
if they were
idea.
here talking now?
No, I've got no idea. They might stay for 2 or 3 nights. Some of them will stay, but just there's a certain percentage which will come along, have a look, play a few games. We try not to thrash them too much on their first night, so they don't go away with their tail between the legs, sort of thing.
Are you? Oh, are you sure? Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, yes.
If you don't thrash them,
Well,
thrash them, freshman.
we try
or
and line them
flashman.
up with a player suitable so that they can have a good game anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a new player at the club I'm at, and I gave him like it's an interesting thing. Do I give him odds if he's quite markedly not as strong as I? Do I play him normally? Or do I just give him 11 moves at the start? Is what I've done.
That's right.
And then I turn it around and I have 11 moves at the start, and I just show him,
Okay.
and I've taught him how, that it's a good exercise, because if we give white or black 11 moves at the start and then it's a normal game of chess from there on in, the other player gets to move, then that's quite good for learning your
Interesting
defence in a big way, yeah.
Interesting idea.
So
No, I don't know why they go, but we are keeping them like this certain number are staying. But we do have a section in our club which meet on a Tuesday, which is a social gathering,
yeah,
and we play without clocks, without time limits, still touch move, and that sort of thing.
is that social chess if you've got touch move?
Oh yes.
Oh,
unless you say,
I thought if you
unless your
got
opponent
clocks,
says,
that's
take that
social.
back. If you suddenly Queen's
Yeah.
gone, take that back and carry on.
Oh, yeah.
That can happen. So,
Do you think that's a good idea?
well, it is for social chess.
Yeah.
Yep. Those,
So how do you, when you're playing, say, a social game of chess, what's your rules personally, even though you might not,
play as hard as you can.
you play as hard as you can,
And
so it sounds like
abide
it's
by
not
all the
social.
rules. You do abide by all the rules.
You abide by all the rules.
Yeah.
So,
But sometimes a player will come along who is still new to the game and might fiddle about, touch a piece, and you just point out the rules and so on and let it ride. So it's not that serious at that stage. But if they come along to a tournament night, it's
completely different, yeah.
so we've got that. So we've got that intermediary step before you come to the tournament, which is quite good.
As the president, do you have, in my day, I was up before the committee a few times in my life. And do you have, that you can't go into detail, of course, but do these sorts of things crop up? Do you have sort of disputesy sort of committee meetings or what?
Never had any.
Not okay. Well, that's perfect.
Never had any.
Great.
We're a good
We
group
should
of
learn off you.
What I'm
Well, I should.
liking about what we've got at the moment is the number of young people coming through into the committee.
Oh,
And
good.
We've
Yep.
got a treasurer who's, I think he's only 18.
Oh, wow.
We've got a secretary who's 19. Yeah. And it's good to have these young people stepping in to these roles with the experience of the older people still around. So they're learning how the ropes work from the older people, and we can keep an eye on them and see how they go. So it's quite a win-win for both sides.
So is there a distinction between the administration and the players, or are they quite sort of mingled?
No, we're very mingled, apart from the committee night,
Yeah, committee night. Yeah.
which we have just before the club meeting. So we're all sitting there. When people walk in, they just come in and start playing chess while we're finishing up the meeting. Yeah. We
Oh,
do
yeah.
have a committee room through the middle room there, but it's full of old chairs at the moment because
Yeah.
we know to sort our new chairs.
Yeah, we've got new chairs here. It's but the tables are
Looking
the same
very
from when I was a kid.
Yes, I was just looking up a photo from back in the 1970s, and these tables are looking so fresh and clean.
Yeah, they're keeping they're keeping the wits about them. Now,
Yeah,
what is important to you in life? We're not talking about chess. If you
Oh.
want to answer, so what do you consider your real
life goals.
important? No, just what is important to you in your life thus far? What are the sort of things that you hold dear?
Interesting. Having an exciting life. Having a happy life. Making sure people around you are having a happy life. I haven't really thought about life in that aspect very much, actually.
So, yeah. So, like, other than chess, which you're really keen on spending time on and all that sort of thing.
Well,
Are there any other pursuits in your life that
I
you?
have done lots of pursuits.
Yeah,
Yes, and
it's
I
up
guess
to you if you
could
want to
say
answer.
One of the resolutions of life is achieving goals, which I've done throughout my life, like run marathons,
Marathons. Wow.
mountain running, like the Kepler track.
Oh goodness.
67
You do
K.
look quite fit, actually.
67k with that one was.
You haven't got beef on you like I have.
So always having a goal, and chess has been part of that.
Yeah.
But I think I've reached my goal as far as chess goes, without putting a really huge amount of effort into it for a small amount of achievement, which I'm not prepared to do. because I've got other goals in life as well.
And it's quite an undertaking at the end of the day. I know this from one of my friends that is he's often the president or the secretary or the treasurer and those sorts of roles, and
Right.
he's over our age. He's over 60, and so and he says that you end up getting sometimes. So do you ever feel a little bit unappreciated, or do you feel really appreciated in your role as president?
No, I think I'm appreciated.
I know you're appreciated, but do you feel appreciated?
Oh, I get what you mean, yes. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. So it's sort of like it's not like you're going to get wealthy from it, or a prize at the end of the. You might get your
Absolutely
name on a wall somewhere,
What you
or
do
in
get
a.
is a lot of extra work.
Yeah, that's right.
Which
I
goes
know.
with the territory.
So does
But
that
it
hold your
hasn't
chest
been a-
back?
Oh, I think it does.
It does,
Oh,
yeah, because
yeah.
instead of you being able to, you've got to, like I've spoken earlier, you got to concentrate on, something's going on over here, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no, setting up the tournament for the night,
yeah,
clocks, get everything organised. Yeah. So by the time you're sitting down and playing the game, you're already done a stretch.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, moving on,
Moving
I'll
on.
ramble through one of my bits of paper and find if there's anything what activities and principles help you at the board? Anything you can think of?
Principles.
Or activities? Like you said, you're very fit. You sound like
Well,
you're a bit of an Iron Man. You
what
know?
helped me focus, this might sound silly, but what helped me focus on the South Island this time
Yeah.
was my Tai Chi, which I've been doing for 18
Tai.
months.
See, we're just learning all about you.
Mm.
Isn't it
I've
wonderful?
been carrying
Tai
out
Chi.
Tai Chi for 18 months now.
Have you?
And,
Oh, right.
It
It's sort of
does-
karate,
No,
sort of
not
without
karate,
hitting things.
Tai Chi
I know.
is more of a breathing
Zen.
exercise and a meditation, really.
And so you've spoken about that. You've spoken about that just earlier. I can't even
Yes.
remember. My memory can't even remember exactly what it
about
was.
going in the afternoon, being focused,
Yeah,
and doing a bit of breathing and settling your mind down, going in fresh.
because
I think that helps.
another person from your club that I've interviewed already, no clues, of course, says that they practice yoga, and so that helps them a lot in their game, especially with breathing, and instead of like going, they just keep the breath, and this person.
Yeah.
I can mention him, of course. It's Quinton. He says, he says that I say to him, there are times that I go, oh, look at your position, and you look like you're in a really good position or a really bad position, and it don't show on your face. So, oh well, that's good.
But it hasn't helped me towards the end of a hard game, and I finally made a bad move, and I'm starting to squirm a bit.
Yeah, because that's just something we can't. It's
Yes.
like playing chess till 4:30 in the morning
That's right.
on the internet.
Oh, I've never done that.
I have, and I've tried to keep my rating there as it was at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Or it takes me about 5 hours later to go back up again. So, strengths and weaknesses in chess. Any comments
Personally,
for you? Yeah. Any comments if you like to. You don't have to answer anything. We don't even have to put this on the net.
no. Okay.
Okay, we won't.
Well, my strengths and weaknesses probably about the same. Averages out. I don't know the openings like everybody can rattle them off, but saying that, like I don't know the names of them, but saying that when they play the opening, I know how to counter it. I've learnt it I wrote over the board, not by reading a book, if you know what I mean. It's,
Oh, good.
so,
How do you handle an opponent that you dislike?
I don't handle them any different.
Okay, well, that's the answer to that question.
Yeah, it's all a game.
And a bit of a sort of a topsy-turvy question, it probably isn't. What if there wasn't chess?
There'd be Go.
You play Go?
No, I haven't. But if there wasn't chess, you'd be doing something else.
So why? So I can ask the same sort of question a little bit differently put. Why chess?
Why chess? Because it's intellectual, I suppose.
And not Monopoly or Bridge or card games?
I've tried Bridge, but it doesn't have the same appeal to me. Cards.
Okay. Do you know why?
Well, I think because what you've got on the table between us here is the boundaries.
Yeah.
You've got 32 pieces, you've got 64 squares. If you learn everything there is to know about those, you can play anybody and do all right. There's no extra boundary. You can't go any further, if you know what I mean.
Even though some people have tried.
It's nicely fenced off.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm putting that out.
That might be mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you look at that and you think, well, it's only 64 squares, it's only 32 pieces. What can be so hard about that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I think that's pretty I think that's pretty well put, actually. So we've already spoken about one of the questions. Do you find focus is important? And you've already answered that question. What's your favourite piece?
The night?
The night. How interesting. Now, can you tell me what's your most unfavourite piece that from your opponent?
Well, of the opponents.
As well. So that was your favourite piece.
That's my favourite piece.
The knight.
Yeah.
So if I give you a knight, you'll give me a queen?
No. A bishop and a knight.
A bishop and a knight versus a queen. Yeah. So you'll give up your queen just to have a bishop and a knight, and I can have a queen against your bishop and knight.
Only if there's
can we have that in writing?
Only if there's a tempo in it or a mate.
Mate. Now, would you take the mate if you were able to? Or would you just say, well, it's sort of like giving me 11 moves at the start of the game. No. Have I actually won if I've won?
I'd take the money.
You take the
what
money.
I find about the knife is it's so frustrating to play against.
Yeah.
Because of what it can do and where it can go. And particularly if you've got two of them out there.
Did you know Bob, Sir Bob? That sounds quite good, actually. Sir Bob sounds quite good. Sir Bob, did you know that in my day we used to have, there used to be bear hair, there used to be a locker full of chips and fizzy drink and lots of cigarette smoke and a smoker room.
I don't remember the beer, but I do remember smoking, chips and fizz drinks here. But,
which myself, and I won't say anyone else, sort of, we're in front of the committee for a few times.
Yeah, and the club was open till all hours.
All time. So what time do you close now?
There was a time they closed that off, they stopped that, but then a few years later it was mooted to bring that all back in again, but it was, I think we lost a few members because of that. But we do have a very strong junior player group in the club, and it's got to be seen to be doing everything right as far as they go as well. So we've got to be responsible. So that's what we are.
So you're talking
Responsible club.
bit of P's and Q's, which is the club motto. Is it still the same motto?
It's around for a
Or
while, but yes, it's still.
P's and Q's,
Yep.
which could mean pawns and queens, but
What's
it could
your P's
also
and
be
Q's? Yes,
it could also be the political side
Yeah.
of things too,
that's right.
which I can get tangled up with myself. What's naught times a million?
0 times a million is not.
Okay, I knew you knew that answer. What's naught times infinity?
Yeah, good question. There's 2 noughts, one above the other. I don't know.
Does the naught catch up with the infinity, or does the infinity just go so fast the naught can't catch up with it? That
Interesting question.
it's a good one for an engineer. The other one is what happens when an immovable object meets an irresistible force? Can we have an engineer's answer on that, please?
An immovable object meets an
Irresistible force.
Yeah, as far as I can see, they would not meet if they're
Yeah, that's the right answer. I think that's right. That's what one of my friends has answered as, you all know the player, but I won't drop names, but did all right in the South Island, got about 3rd, I think.
right.
Now I'm just about finishing off here, because otherwise it's going to be
My
2.5
time's just
hours.
about up.